In this lesson, we're going to be continuing our work on enabling conditions, specifically looking at logical operators and enabling conditions for multi-select questions. Let's start today by looking at logical operators. Sometimes we want to implement an enabling condition on a question which has two or more factors. Let's take, for example, if we want to ask a question to females who are 18 years of age or greater. In this example, two things must be true. The respondent must be female, and she must be 18 years of age or older. To combine these two factors, we'll need to use some logical operators. Let's have a look at them now. We can use the logical operators in survey solutions to combine two or more of our basic syntaxes together to make more complex expressions. The logical operators are AND, double ampersand, or, the two vertical lines, and NOT, exclamation point. In our example questionnaire at B8, we want to only ask this question if the respondent is female and 15 years of older. This means that at B6, we must be higher than 14, and at B4, the sex must be equal to female. In the designer, we'll move to question B8 because this is the question we want to enable or disable. And in its enabling condition box, I'd like to show this question if B6 is greater than 14 and double ampersand B4 is equal to 2. Let's take a quick test to see if this is working correctly. When testing your enabling conditions, it's important to test both ways. Test the instance when the question should be shown, and test an instance when the question should not be shown. So for Jane, let's start by making her a female and 20 years of age. Now B8 should show to us, and it does. Let's now change the age of Jane so that she is only 12 years of age. Now only one of our conditions is true, so we should not see B8. B8 is now disabled. Let's try again. If Jane is 25 and male, we should not see B8. Correct. Let's move now on to our enabling conditions for multi-select questions. When we're setting up enabling conditions on multi-select questions, we need to use entirely different operators than we do for single select questions. This is because in a multi-select question, we can select more than one answer. So operators like is equal to are not relevant here. So let's have a look at the operators for multi-select questions. There's quite a few different operators available to us for multi-select questions in survey solutions. First of all, we have the operator .contains. This means that the answer in the brackets is amongst those selected. Next, we have contains only. This means that the answer in the bracket is the only value which has been selected. Contains all is for when all of the values have been selected. Contains any means any of the answers in the brackets have been selected. Contains with the exclamation point in front means that the answer in the bracket is not amongst those selected. And finally, .length will tell us how many answers were selected. An example where we can implement some multi-select enabling conditions in our survey you'll find here in Module C between question 9a and question 9b. Question 9a asks which of the following assets that the household owns. Our answer options are bicycle, motorbicycle, scooter, three-wheeler, etc. Then in 9b, we ask how many of these items are owned by the household for each one. There's no point to ask how many bicycles the household owns if in the previous question the respondent indicated that they do not own any bicycles. Let's see how to set this up in Designer. So here's my answer codes for C9A. You can see bicycle is code 1, but we can select bicycle, three-wheeler, many things all at once in C9A. So C9B, I want to only display it if C9A contains code 1. So for this, we'll come to C9B and write the enabling condition C9A.contains 1. This means that the first answer, bicycle, has been selected in C9A. What we can do is copy and paste this piece of enabling condition throughout the C9B iteration, but of course updating the code for each question. Let's take a test and see if it's working. You can see now when we come to questions C9a and C9b all of C9b is disabled. But if I select bicycle, then C9b part 1 becomes enabled. If I select motor bicycle, then part 2 is enabled. That's all for this lesson. I hope now you have a good understanding of logical operators and the operators you can use for multi-select questions. Join us next time and we're going to take a look at system-generated variables in survey solutions.